Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Jairo Salas, and I know it has been a while since I posted a video, but in today's video I want to talk to you guys about um, college experience, college life, what is college, and how doing in college and things like that. For any of those new high school kids or whoever is just curious about college, we're gonna be talking about all of college stuff in this video. Alright, so if you're new to college or don't know what to expect for college, the first thing I wanted to say is just college isn't really always parties. Yeah, you can go to parties if you're a party person. I personally am not a party person, so I never have gone to a party in college just because I had heard horror stories about college, I mean parties and stuff. But obviously there is parties like every weekend, so um but it's not always about parties. I have heard multiple stories of people that once they come to college, they're all parties, fun and games because you're away from your parents and you kind of want to express yourself a little bit more. But at the end of the day, those people end up having like a horrible time or um, just just physically, mentally draining to always be going to parties. And so they didn't end up like focusing in their studies after. Well, this is just true for the university I go to. It can be different for everyone. One thing they don't say about college is that in high school, I know me personally, is that they don't tell you how overwhelming college is. Right now I'm still in college. I'm gonna be a junior next semester, but they don't tell you that college is overwhelming. There is, depending on the major you get, right, because some majors classes are easier than others. My major personally is animal science, so it's a lot of like chemistry, biochem, organic chemistry, all of those chemistry type of classes, the really hard classes. You get overwhelmed a lot. There's a lot because at the same time you're learning how to be an adult, you also have to juggle a job if you have to get a job, and then also like being an adult at the same time as juggling school and having a job and things like that. So it does get overwhelming. That's why you hear people say that college isn't for the weak or college isn't for everyone, because college is basically you're on your own, you know, in most cases, because there's most cases that students do get supported financially by their parents, but unfortunately I didn't get so lucky like that, so I'm kind of on my own here, supporting myself in financial ways. Yes, I have my parents' support as like I'm going to college, but not really so much financially, if that makes sense. And then the second topic I do want to talk on is professors don't chase you. What I mean by this is that professors or teachers, however you want to call them, we call them professors in college, and in high school we call them teachers. But the professors aren't going to chase you. If you don't want to go to class, they're not going to email you while you're absent. There is some classes that do take attendance, but again, if you don't show up, that's on you, not on them. They're not going to chase you. They're not going to be like your high school. Your parents are not going to have to vouch for you if you don't show up or anything like that. You're basically an adult, and if you want to go, you're going to go, great. If no, you don't. But just know that it's going to go bad if you don't go. But also another big thing is time management here. If you really want to really put the effort into college, you do have to learn how to time manage. You have to juggle everything, how I said, your job, classes, adulting, your personal life, etc. You also have to juggle everything together and like still function a little bit. So time management, so if you can learn how to time management when you're in high school, that would be really great. Or if you already have a job in high school and you're doing school, then that's really great because that sets you really good up for college, because that's what I did personally, and that sets you up pretty well. The other topic I want to touch about is making friends. So making friends isn't easy on college. Well, for some people it is rather than others, because depending if you're a people person, you're introvert, you're extrovert, depending on what you are. But essentially, making friends isn't like difficult, but I mean it's not impossible, but it is difficult, if that makes sense. Just because you guys are all adults, and sometimes you're like, I go to class, I do this, I take notes, I leave. Go to class, take notes, leave, and then you're not really talking to people around you, because everyone's so nervous because you're new to a class and things like that, unless like the teacher pairs you up as a group or do something together, so you start meeting people. But also my tip is try to get out of your comfort zone, say hi to people, introduce them, ask them for their phone number. We don't really, well, me personally, a lot of college kids, we don't really ask for Snapchats anymore. I know in college, high school, that was a big thing. We normally just do like Instagram if it's social media, but normally we just ask for phone number. Um, Things like that if you really get along with that person, right? To make friends with them, and it's pretty easy. If you're a really open person, just talk to them, make friends. Depending on the person you are, I know sometimes it's really hard to make friends depending on who you are, but it's not impossible to. The next thing I want to touch on is college expenses. So the thing they don't tell you about is that college is really expensive. So on top of paying for tuition, you do have to pay for books. You do have to pay for meal plan if you want a meal plan. You have to pay for where you're gonna live, so apartment or dorm. You're also gonna have to pay for just basic needs like toothbrushes, hand sanitizer. I mean, soap, hand sanitizer if you want, of course, pans, pots, depending on how your dorm is set up. If you have a kitchen, or anything like that, it does get expensive. It's basically like you're an adult. Right now in college, my personal experience is that I am in an apartment right now with a roommate. I am. My job does pay for my apartment, so I have to pay for that, which I'm grateful for because I don't have to pay for rent or utilities. And so that's great for that. But if you don't have scholarships, you have to pay that out of pocket. As well as you have to pay for. I pay for my groceries and for because we have a kitchen because it's an apartment. But I also get a meal plan a part of my job. So I also have that. So sometimes when I don't want to cook, or even like also like if you just want to, I don't know, go on the weekend and go buy yourself something like a fast food or something, or you're craving something, um, that is where you want a little extra money, just that way you can go out and eat with your friends or things like that. If you want to go buy something specific, you can, you have that money. Um, as well as a car, obviously, if you can get a car, that would be great. But most campuses, everything's nearby, depending on the school you go to. So it's not really like a necessity, but it is really helpful when you're trying to get like an outside job off campus, or like go on farther out or go back home or things like that. But again, it's not a necessity. Okay, so number 5 is a big one: mental health. I want to touch briefly on this because mental health in college is really good, really essential, because you really want to take care of yourself, right? So this is something I really struggle with. I struggle with, and I'm still working on, is that you're really trying to exceed in college, depending if you're a school person or not, or you're just essentially trying to get a degree, you know? But you also have to take care of yourself. A lot of schools have like mental health, like counseling, things like that, if you need it. Depending on the school you go to, my school does have all that stuff. I personally don't feel like I need it, but just something there to just keep in mind is that your mental health does get interrupted or disturbed, if however you want to put it. It's just mentally exhausting sometimes. Towards the end, the burnt out of the semester is real. Burnt out, I mean, is you're really tired, exhausted. You just want the semester to be over, but you still have to study for exams. You still have to put in the effort to pass your classes. Um, so that's kind of exhausting, but it happens. And just know that in college, your mental health is key, and it also gets attacked a lot, if that makes sense. um so yeah, so that's one thing to consider as well in college. Another topic that is no one teaches you to be an adult unless your parents are teaching you in some way. Now when you're a high school student, I'm talking to specific high schoolers, or if you're trying to come back as a college student, that's something different. But if you're a high school student transferring to college, it can be hard because if your parents don't set you up for that, because at the end of the day, it's your parents that are the ones who are teaching you how to be an adult, essentially, because high schools don't teach you that. Um, it's gonna be hard. My parents, on a personal note, kind of set me up for being an adult. They started charging me for rent back home. I know it sounds harsh, but that really helped me, and I'm really grateful for that, just because that taught me how to be responsible for payments, for bills, for stuff I need. And right now I feel like I'm working and I'm supporting myself, just because when I was back home, I was being taught how to do that, essentially. And that's a good mindset to do. Or even if your parents don't want to charge you rent, maybe like another idea can be like setting money aside and act like that's your rent or something, or saving up for something but putting money aside. That way it's like, oh, I'm have to pay rent, but like basically like telling yourself that's rent even though it's not, but it's later you can use that money for something else. That way, and it's really important because a lot of kids nowadays, in college, I see some kids struggle with this because a lot of their parents even give them money now and give them money during college, but that's going to be hard because when they out of college, they're going to be on their own, and that's going to be even more struggling. So it's better to kind of also learn in college, if that makes sense, because I've heard people struggling like outside of college because their parents did everything for them, if that makes sense. And the last one that I want to touch on is just college in general. It's that growth. And what I mean by growth is that you're always growing, you're always learning, you're always, it's a fun experience. College is fun. I really do enjoy being a student because you're studying, you're learning new experiences, you're trying to navigate the world, and you also have these peers that you work with. I mean, yeah, that you work with in jobs, but also are in college, and we're all have the end goal to earn a degree. So that's pretty fun, and it's not all about job, studying and stuff. There is, you can't juggle it all if you know how to time manage. For me personally, I have time for everything pretty much because I put time aside for everything. But if you can learn a little bit of each of these things that I taught to you guys in this video, from high school, that would be really helpful because college isn't easy. I'm gonna tell you that. That's why you see a lot of dropouts. A lot of people say that they don't want to go to college, um, because like it's a lot that you're doing at the same time, and it's not bad if you don't want to go to college, because college isn't for everyone, like I said, and it's also really, really mentally draining sometimes, So that's the realistic, and also you have to have a lot of discipline because no one's gonna be there to wake you up at 7 a.m. How your parents are back home. You kind of just have to wake up on your own, be ready and things like that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe for next content. I'm gonna be posting a little bit more about college stuff because I have asked this really highly requested videos and things like that. So if you're gonna be incoming freshman, or want to know more about college experience, or like what to bring for your dorm, things like that, just comment down below and I'll be more than happy to make videos. But like always, stay blessed and I'll see you guys in the next one.